So ready.
Oh.
Perfect.
So wonderful. Hi, and welcome to Here for the Story. I'm Shari.
And I'm Lauren, and we're coming to you from the quintessential small town of Oakdale, California. This is Here for the Story, a cozy podcast about books, creativity, and connection.
Each week we'll be sharing what we're reading, what we're working on, and chatting with authors, creatives, and fascinating people from our little corner of the world and beyond.
Today, we are so excited to be joined by lettering artist and illustrator Vera Drmanovski.
Did we get it right?
Drmanovski.
Drmanovski. I gotta roll my R's. Who
Yeah.
specializes in storytelling through intricate lettering, illustration for publishers, book box companies, and indie authors around the world.
Vera's work is incredibly detailed, expressive, and rooted in bringing stories to life visually, and we are so excited to dive into her process and creative journey. Welcome, 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 Vera.
Thank you, girls. Thank you for having me. Great to be here.
Thank you for being here. Extra thank you to you, Vera, for today. Before we dive in, should we do a quick check-in on what we're drinking and all that good stuff?
Yes, let's share. So we love Vera to share what we're drinking and what we're reading, and we'd love to hear from you today if you have something special you'd like to share with us.
Yes. Currently, I'm drinking water, but I'm a go-to coffee person. I love coffee. And currently, I'm reading Drop of Corruption, which is the second part to the Leviathan, sorry, series by Robert Jackson Bennett. And this is the first book, The Tainted Cup, which is amazing. And currently I'm reading the second one that I actually love even more. It's kind of a murder mystery story, but set in this really, really odd world where people have to get augmented by the Leviathan blood. So they get these superpowers, and they also look odd. Like they have different color of skin, like pink or green or gray. They have like teeth that are sharp and different color. And it's just like this whole, when you're reading, you're imagining this like weird looking humans. And then this whole story is a murder mystery. So it's very much Sherlock Holmesy type of vibe, and the two main characters totally have the Sherlock Watson chemistry there. And I really just I just like how the authors sort of like put those two together in a really, really odd world. You have this kind of a murder mystery story that's super fun to read, but it's also very dark and unpredictable, which is what I love about murder mysteries, because you kind of at the end, well, that's not a person I thought did it. So I like that part. If I can predict what's going to happen in a book, it's kind of not fun. But Robert did a really great job.
That's
making
awesome.
that twist at the end, just like Sherlock Holmes. You just have that twist you did not expect.
Yeah.
That sounds so great. I really want to read it. And I'm curious, you said you're on book 2. So is there a book 3?
There is a book 3 coming out in November. And I can't wait to, finish the series. I think it's going to be the last one, but I'm not 100% sure.
That's fun.
Yeah. So hopefully, even if it's not, honestly, because each book is a standalone, there's a story.
I love that.
So it's not connected. Those stories, they have cases that are working.
Yeah.
So you can go forever, literally, like, have as many murders as you want.
So for each book, are they different characters or are they same characters?
No, the main two characters are the same. They are Sherlock and Watson, right? So they're Dean and Anna. So those are the main two characters, and they go around this empire that is, of course, fictive, and go to different parts of the empire to solve the really, really difficult murders. They're sort of like special agents, so to speak. They're like special division. Of the EUDEX, that's how they call it. I hope that's how it's pronounced, because there's no glossary at the back, So I'm just pronouncing, because everything is made up, right? Even the months So you kind of just make it up okay, this is how I would read it and pronounce it. So
Hands up for you, Vera. We talk with our guests a lot about this, about whether or not the names in the story are actually pronounced how you pronounce them, or whether the authors. And we have had authors come on and say that we have full right to pronounce it however we want. And so not every author feels that way, but I think it's really fun to kind of make it your own.
Yeah, we go with that.
it is. It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's hard to switch over once you've learned that something should be something else.
Totally. That's how I say it, and that's how it is in my head.
That's just what it is in our head.
That's how it sounds in my head. Yeah.
I love it. Well, do you want to share what you're drinking and what you're reading?
Emotional support water, as told by our good friend Jess, in my detox era of life, trying to get all the water in, just have 1 cup of coffee, and move forward with life healthier. Drink more water.
I'm here for the hydration.
Yeah, I need it. I need it.
It's very important.
Yes, it really is.
That's how you stay young.
Yeah, I need all the tips.
So what are you reading?
I'm currently reading a book, Ellis Hunter's Bloodbound, which is a dual written book by 2 women who are best friends. And I've kind of taken a deep dive into them, but I've really enjoyed the book. Like I was telling you earlier, I wasn't sure about the hype, but I'm in with the hype. I'm normally not on the hype train. There's a train that's hyped. I'm like, "Ooh, I don't want to be on that train," but I'm hopping on. I've just jumped on the back, and
I will hop on this train. Yeah. But this book I actually haven't heard of. And Vera, have you heard of Bloodbound?
Yes, yes, I have. I haven't read it, but I've heard of it. Yes.
Okay, yeah. So I haven't heard of this. So I'm like, where did I get off the hype train?
I don't know.
Who's not telling me about the hype?
Well, I think
this is your job, Lauren.
Let's be honest. There's a lot coming out in 2026.
That's true.
And
That's true, yes.
I'm excited to talk to Vera because and even you, because I feel like I am hopeful that all my artist friends are very busy because of the volume of books that are coming out this year.
Yes.
So, all right. True. What are you drinking and reading?
I am on my tea train, tea lady. I am having a Tea Forte citrus mint, which is just, I love a good mint tea. I don't know if it's because I suffer from anxiety tummy. So I need the mint tea, but it's always bringing me joy. And then I'm reading too many books. I have to write them down because I forget. Speaking of a dual written book, I finished recently Bound by Sable Sorensen, which is just fantastic, and Fury Bound comes out, is it next month?
It's this year.
It's this year is what we know. We don't know what month. I'm not going to tell you which day. I did also just finish one that just came out, the second book in the Shield of Sparrows series. I finished Rights of the Starling by Devney Perry, which is just a fantastic book. I'm waiting for all of you to read it and DM me so we can talk about it because it's just so fantastic. And the artwork on that book is also beautiful. It is not done by either Vera or me, but we just love it regardless.
Yep.
But then I needed a little palette cleanser. And so now I am finishing up book 4 in the Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon by Beth Brower, which I think I spoke with you, Vera, that you have not heard of this book yet. Our listeners have heard of this many times from me, and I'm just going to re-put it in the pot for if you are in deep with fantasy books or mystery books or books that might be a little heavy. This is such a good palette cleanser for you, and I highly recommend it. I'm still in love with it. It is a book that supposedly is supposed to have 20 books in the series, and so I'm on book 4, and I'm slowly getting through it because I don't want to catch up to them being done. I have all of them on my shelf, and I'm going to go back and probably reread them because they're just that good. Yeah. I'm curious, do you like to reread books, Vera?
Oh, yeah. For sure.
Okay.
For sure.
That's my girl.
And sometimes I'm like, oh, why did I ever read this? Like sometimes I have this, I wish I can forget this book moment, but not because I didn't like it, but because I loved it so much I want to experience it for the first time.
Yeah. I love that. That's so, yes. I also love to reread books, mostly when the next one might be coming out. But there are just some books that, like you said, they get you the first time, and I wish I could reread it with new eyes. And so, I'm here for that one.
But then there are books I don't know. I also have books that I like to reread every 10 years, especially the
Oh.
ones that are a little bit more serious. So, like Herman Hesse, for example, because their books are so deep, and it's about personal struggles and enlightenment and all that. So I started reading it when I was 20. Then I read it again when I was 30, then when I was 40. And one day when I'm 50, I'll reread it again. Because, as I grow, as I age and I mature, I
Mhm.
experience those books completely differently.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah,
think
so
that's so fantastic. You know what's interesting? So I have my son just turned 10, and so we're going on our own little reading journey together, and he's starting to read books that I read when I was little, and I remember them being very formative for me. There's a book called The Golden Compass. I don't know if either of you have read that
I've
book.
heard it. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
I've heard it.
And so I read that when I was little, and my son just recently read it, and I went back and read it with him. And oh my gosh, it's a completely different book. Like
Mhm.
what goes over your head when you are a child, and
Yeah.
how much deeper the story, richer the story actually felt. Some people really write off children's books or middle grade books thinking, there's no real depth to
Yeah.
them. But I think that those are the types of books that you can read, and a lot of them withstand the test of
Yes.
time.
Just
Um,
like Little Prince. Little Prince is the
yeah.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And two, when you can get a copy, that's a special edition copy of it, and you can have it on your shelf. It's also artwork. On top of the
Yeah.
artwork of the writing, we're here talking about all of the
Yeah.
books. I love it.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready to
Yes,
dive into some questions
let's
with
dive
Vera?
into some questions, Vera. You have no
Go ahead.
idea. I don't, and I actually have expressed this to you before, but Vera, if I had someone that I looked up to in this industry, you would be it. Our listeners know that, like, I didn't start in this realm of art, and books have such a special place in my heart. But seeing what you have been able to create, and I don't think I've asked you this, what's your updated number of how many book covers that you have actually created so far?
Completed, I think, is around, honestly, I keep losing track. Completed, I
Real.
think, around 70. There's
Yeah.
in the works around 90, but I think actually there's planned about
It's
90.
incredible.
I don't know how many between 90 and 70 are I'm currently working. I think I'm currently working on 7, maybe 8.
Wow.
I don't know. I just can't
Yeah,
I can't remember the numbers.
right. And it's
Yeah.
just incredible because let's start from the beginning for our listeners who don't know you. Now they can come to love and know you, and they can kind of learn a little bit about your creative path. You didn't start with 90, 70, however many book
No.
covers. You started in a different way, and I'd love if you could kind of tell us a little bit about where you want to start from, your career as an artist, and how you found yourself
Illustrating books.
illustrating books in
Illustrating
this
books, yeah.
creative
Yeah.
career. Yeah.
Yeah, well, when I think about it, I mean, my creative career is long, and I will try to keep it short. But it definitely did not start as a book cover illustrator. It didn't even start as an illustrator. So it started basically as a graphic designer because I finished graphic design, and then I worked in events industry for creating all kinds of m- creative material from print to multimedia animations for live events. And it was really a creative and cool job because I got to learn a lot more than what a graphic design diploma gave me.
Mm.
And I also learned how to learn by myself, how to actually take on projects I have no idea how to do and make it happen, to be resourceful, which is something that has been an incredibly important skill that I use today. And I've done that job for 10 years, and it was really fun. And I loved seeing my work on big screens and travel a lot with it. But after 10 years, and when COVID hit, it kind of was time to part ways because, well, number one, the live events started to, disappear, at least for a certain period of time, or they were getting reduced because a lot of it is now online. However, I was also ready because in the meantime, while I was working, I discovered lettering, and I became really, really obsessed with letterings, and the letters itself, and how when I find out that that can be actually a career, I was really amazed and impressed, and I thought, okay, this is something I would love to do. And I thought it was easier than being an illustrator because, believe it or not, for the longest time, I have sort of been shying away from illustrating anything. I thought that I cannot draw and that I'm not good at drawing. I can't draw, and it's something I shouldn't be doing. Maybe, just maybe florals. Maybe. But I also, for the longest time, didn't want to draw flowers and floral elements because I thought everybody's doing it. So how am I different? So, because I was always sort of trying to find that uniqueness that's going to separate me from the rest. And then I fought some things that I shouldn't be really fighting. It's just kind of like that. Why am I not drawing flowers? Everybody can draw flowers, yes, but everybody does it differently, which is something that I didn't sort of let myself see that.
And you
And
do it so
so,
beautifully.
sorry.
I said, and you do it so beautifully. I love your florals.
Well, that's another thing that is sort of logic to me that it happened this way because my mom was unfortunately a biology teacher, and her whole life she was drawing for her children. She was drawing botanical illustrations, and even as a child I used to help her prepare for lessons because she was using those. I don't know what it's called. I forget actually the name of that machine, but the old school machine when you put like the see-through foil
Yeah.
on top of it, and then it
Projector.
projects.
Yeah, it's a projector.
It's a
That's it.
projector. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So she used to do that, and that's how she was preparing for her lessons. And then sometimes I would draw stuff for her. And then another thing that's sort of interesting about me, I used to study biology. I actually went to university for biology back in Serbia before I came to Canada.
Oh my
And
gosh.
about halfway through the university, I realized it's not for me. Because number one, I could not for the life of me remember Latin names. I have problem with names in general, but let alone Latin names.
Oh yeah.
And then I would also spend a lot of time just drawing little bugs and little flowers and all that stuff in my trying to memorize, but it would just end up, being a drawing session. So I wish I actually kept those books,
Yeah.
but I don't think I have them anymore. I
The
think I threw
clues
them all
were
out.
there though. The
Yeah.
clues were there, and only in hindsight
Yeah,
can you
see,
really see
life
them.
tells you little by little
Yeah.
what to do, and it's important that you pick up on time, which I
Yeah.
didn't.
Me
I did
neither.
not pick up on time. I'm a bit of a late bloomer.
We are similar in that, Vera. I was a math major before I decided to go to law school, before I decided to become an artist.
Oh
So
yeah, well there you go. Those
that's
two are
fun.
three actually are not
Yeah.
not connected, but yeah. So that's how I started, and then when I decided to go freelance, I started thinking, okay, what is this thing that is going to give me an edge, or is going to separate me and get me noticed? Because believe it or not, it has to be something. It is a saturated marketplace, and there's a lot of great inhumanly talented people, and I never thought of myself as being one. To be honest with you, I never thought of myself as a talent of any kind. So I just try to find something that's going to separate me, because it was all about, at the end of the day, my dream was not to be an illustrator, but to actually have my own freelance business and to be on my own. So after a long time of searching and trying to define that niche, I went even into the paper lettering, where at some point I was just creating stuff out of paper, trying to again be different, which was amazing. And I always speak of that period of my life as one of the most creative periods. I really loved working with hands and off computer. And even though it didn't really bring me any client work, and it didn't really help me with my business, it was something that helped me find my process. It also helped me master the vectorizing, because I had to prepare the templates to be able to cut. So I really worked a lot with vector. And at the end of the day, it was also about the depth. So I always, I started, when I was doing paper lettering, I started thinking about layers, because I was layering paper on top of paper to get that depth with paper art. And I use that technique even today with digital layers to get the depth in my work. And that is one of the things that a lot of people, I guess, notice in my work, that there is a lot of depth to it, and a lot of like layered stuff. So and then I decided to go freelance. And when I was thinking about what do I want to do, books came as an obvious thing, because I was always a bit of a book nerd. For me, a home without books is not a home. It was something, even when I came to Canada and I had no money, I was like broke. The thing that I would do each week is I would go to Indigo store and pick up the cheapest book, because I couldn't really afford, but I just needed to have books in my home. Otherwise, it's not a home. So I then I'm like, okay, maybe this is something I wanted to do. So basically, then I decided to, okay, I want to design books, and that's something I want to do. But I didn't really think that is going to be my sole focus. I just thought it's going to be a part of my business. And then I created a set of, this is the set that I'm talking about. It's a set of 9 dash jackets to redesign a really old collection of Herman Hesse that I bought when I was 20, because as I mentioned, he's one of my favorite authors. I was focusing on lettering for that particular series, because I was inspired by illuminated manuscripts, because his books are all about, as I said, illumination, the enlightenment, the search for the place in the world, personal struggles. And so I thought illuminated manuscript would be a really fun way, first of all, to practice black letter lettering, which is probably the hardest, and lettering artists are usually afraid of it. And also just to have fun with it, because the titles are usually very long. Book titles are very long, so it's perfect kind of for lettering. And once I've done that, I put it on the internet. I put it on Instagram, of course, but it didn't really get much traction on Instagram, because I don't know. It's not a trendy thing, right? Creating book covers is not really trendy, even today. Like
I
we
disagree.
are, yeah, exactly. It is a very, very little pocket of where like-minded people gather. So I needed to figure out, okay, where's that pocket in the digital world? And I found this site or blog called Spine Magazine, where that's dedicated to book covers only. And I reached out to the owner of the blog and pitched the project, the Hess project. And she asked me to write an article about, she loved it. And she's like, can you write an article about your process? Why did you do that? And all that stuff. So I did. And after that was posted, I think maybe a month or so afterwards, maybe 2, I don't know, I forgot. I got my first book cover inquiry from Penguin Random House about the Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, and that was my first baby. And I really, of course, when I got the email, I was like, "Is this fake?"
Yeah. Am I being bamboozled?
Is somebody doing a prank on me or something? Like, it was
Yeah.
really hard to believe. Honestly, it was really hard to believe, because Penguin is such a huge publishing house, and one of the, you would always think, okay, a dream client, and you would have to go through some smaller ones to get to the big one. But yeah, no, they were the first ones, and they wanted a letter centric Art Nouveau cover. that, as you can see, the whole series is pretty much like all about the title design and then some small decorations around it.
We're showing it for listeners. You need to watch this on YouTube so you can see the fantastic artwork because it's just beautiful. And
Yeah.
it's so interesting too to see some of your more recent work. I just purchased your A Stage Set for Villains special edition, which is so intricate, so beautiful. But these 3 books, your Emily
There
Wilde
it is.
series, and there it is, it's on there too. It's so beautiful, and oh, the foiling is so cool too.
I love
The
it. I love this cover.
But what I love about your style so much, Vera, is that it's so timeless. So these are some of your earlier work, and I know as an illustrator, sometimes I will be like, "Oh, I've improved so much since then," or "My art has changed so much since then." But it's so classic, it's so beautiful. I just think to have that as like your first real big publishing book, like what an accomplishment. You have created something so timeless. It's beautiful.
Thank you, thank you. And you know what? That is the series that opened up all these doors that came afterwards. Honestly, I'm so grateful for having that opportunity because none of it, I think, would have happened because, first of all, the series itself is very popular, and it's an amazing story, and I love the way Heather wrote. The whole story. The world is beautiful. The whole dreadology, nerdy professor type of like academy vibe to it. It's a lot of it is thanks to the story itself, not just the covers, because the books are great, and then they got a lot of traction all over the world, and I got to do a lot of foreign editions for it, where I redesigned the titles. Some of the foreign editions they did it themselves in house, but some of them I actually recreated the titles for in different languages. So it opened up so many doors, and it also brought my work to other continents, not just North America. Yeah.
Do you still feel like if you've walked into a bookstore or you see somebody else sharing, do you get that feeling every time of being like, wow, that's mine, that's out in the world?
Yeah, I get it's that first
It's like,
time when Emily Wilde got out, that was a moment that, of course, I recorded the whole thing, and then me walking into the Indigo store, and picking up a copy and just like waiting at the cash register. And when I got there, of course, I had to say, I did this, I was like a little child. So, but yeah, even today, even though there are now quite a few out there in the stores, I still like to go and visit my kids, so to speak.
yeah,
Yeah.
because they are. They're such a baby. And Lauren talks about this all the time of how much work goes into each cover, each story itself too. We just interviewed an author, and how much of her world went into it before it even gets to you. It's a
Right.
true labor of love with multiple people, um and it just means so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have
I
You
was gonna
looked
say,
like you were
do
gonna
you
have a
want to ask the
question.
one question that you had?
Do I want to ask the one question I had?
The one from earlier?
Oh yeah. I love your work because it is so much storytelling within your lettering and your illustrations. I think that it's something that's so unique to you. I can see your work and say, oh, that's Vera, because I can tell that you thought about things so much. And, there are a lot of different genres of book cover artists, and there is a lot of thought process that goes behind the scenes that I think the general public might not fully understand or get. But I am just curious for you what that actually looks like from one single project, from where you start, and has that process changed over your career? Do things get easier using the same type of motifs? Or I'd love to pick your brain on that.
I wish I was. I wish I was a person who can just stick to one thing and do it and perfect it and do it, be fast at it. But that's not the case. I don't do that. Who knows why? Maybe because I like to explore different things and I kind of out outgrow some stuff. But for me, each project is a blank page. I start from blank page. I focus on a brief. I focus on what needs to be accomplished. with the cover. And for me, it doesn't matter. Like I talk about this a lot because artists tend to focus a lot on the style and think that the style is something that is going to help them separate from others and that is going to get them recognizable. But I don't know why. I'm not a believer in that. I am more into I need to tell the right story on this cover. And my style should take the back seat. Whether or not I like, you know, what I'm doing, actually I like all of it because I love to explore new things. I like to that's why I love book cover industry, because each cover is a story on its own, and it's an opportunity to do it differently and explore all these different types of illustration styles and lettering styles. And that's why I just kind of, whatever it takes to get that story told right, I'm going to do it. And it doesn't matter what style I'm going to use for it. That's why you will see a lot of my covers are very, very different. So I'm just going to give an example. For example, this one is like a really Victorian style, super retro kind of floral with a lot of filigree and for the warm hands of goats that I did for Owl Crate. So that's, let's say, a retro style. Then also for Owl Crate, I did this like little cool, really odd type of edition of where we just sort of had like multiple creatures. Like these are all sort of just made up creatures that are coming out of like snake skin. So that was the brief. So I had to design creatures, you know, or illustrate creatures. But then, of course, I have some books where I'm focusing solely on lettering. So, for example, this one is basically just lettering with some sort of inspired by, you know, old witch grimoire type of artwork. So for me, that's what I love about it. And when I start designing covers, I look at the brief, I look at what needs to be accomplished, and then I see what I need to do to get that story right. The process itself is always the same in terms of I provide sketches to my clients first, they approve the sketches, then we move on to the creating the digital artwork. The only thing that's changed over the years for me, and I think that it made my work better, is the tools that I'm using. I used to use Procreate on iPad a lot, but it became a little bit difficult with the layer, you know, issue. So I have moved on to Clip Studio Paint. I don't know if you've heard of that. That is a sort of like a Procreate, but a lot better, and it's for desktop. You just need a drawing tablet. So I got myself a drawing tablet and Clip Studio Paint, and I can do all the things that I did in Procreate and more. But I don't have to worry about the layers. I have a bigger screen to work. I have dual screens, which gives me also, you know, a perspective. Because sometimes you're looking at it and then you look at the, you know, the artwork like this in real size,
Right.
you know, and then you're like, okay, I'm just too much detailing this, and you won't be able to see it actually when it's printed on a book cover. So things like that I have developed over the years and found better tools. But in terms of the process, whatever it needs to be done to get the story told.
Yeah. That's so fascinating too, because I do, as for most of my work, I'm on Procreate as well, and then sometimes doing different vector work in Fresco or Illustrator. But I am curious because I do always see you working with your other tablet that I might be in your ear being like, hey, how can I upgrade this, Vera? Because the layers is the problem for those people who are not familiar with this background part of illustration. You can have one piece that has hundreds of layers, but when you're working in Procreate, it limits based on the size of what you have. Like if you have a 24 by 36, you might only get 17 layers. And if you're working on a book cover, you have many more layers than 17. You have hundreds.
Oh, yeah.
So, there's so much thought, not only in the setup of what you're using, but then with the brushes and with the specific type of color. Um,
Exactly.
Vera's nodding her head because yes, of course, but it's something that if you are not in the illustration world, this might all sound like foreign language to you.
Yeah.
But it's a big process of learning and of figuring out for new artists. Did you have a question?
Yeah, no, you're
Go
good.
ahead.
You're good. I was just gonna say, it's just, I think for our listeners, you work with a lot of box companies. You've mentioned I'll Create. You also mentioned Penguin. Do you tend to work more with the box companies? And then can you just tell us real quickly what the box companies are? You had mentioned earlier that they're for the true collectors of books. So it's not
Yeah.
necessarily the books people read, but they've already read the book. Now they're collecting, they're going to these box companies, and they're basically purchasing the artwork.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So yes, so book box companies are these smaller companies that work with publishers to get the licenses to republish the books in special edition, which are literally for collectors because they are a little bit more expensive, not too expensive, but a little bit more expensive than regular editions. And they usually have this like really cool artwork that has foiling or a spot gloss or some cool, just printing techniques, and they don't look. They're not for mass printing, right? So they have very limited number, and they sell them with as a standalone on their sites as special editions, but they are also can be a part of the subscription boxes. So they also work on a subscription base. So if you go to their site, you can subscribe, and then each month you will receive a new box with surprise goodies inside. Like they have like I've got a few of them, and honestly when you get it, it's like Christmas, because you don't know what's going to be in the box, and you
Yeah.
just kind of open and you love it because you can get a teacup, or you can get
Oh, fun.
all kinds of stuff like a mirror or whatever. Like it just every time is something different. And then of course you get a book, whatever the book is for that month, and you have different depending on whether you're a young adult or an adult, like they have for both. So it's pretty cool. They also have different genres. They have horror boxes, they have romantasy, they have fantasy, so it's depending on what you like, you can subscribe to those particular boxes. And when I've learned that they exist through getting a commission from one of them, I was really impressed because I didn't know about it. I honestly didn't know that world exists for collectors. And it really surprised me, and it also fascinated me because I was like, "Ooh, I get to actually work on these editions that are like super cool because they
Yeah.
have printed edges as well." And one of the interesting things is about those. For example, I can show this one. So we're going to show the spectacular that I did for All Crate as well. It's a super fun book, and a part of the Caravel series by Stephanie Garber. And so I did the dust jacket, and I also did the back cover and the edges. And then the cool thing about these special editions is that inside, somebody else, multiple artists work on these. So somebody is going to do a reverse dust jacket, then somebody is going to do the end paper, then somebody else is going to do the hardcover. And then in this particular case, we have Rosie Hovinkle. I'm hoping that I'm pronouncing this right. Rosie is actually an illustrator that did the illustrations inside the book. Oh, I opened it right away on the illustration.
Yeah,
This was,
beautiful.
if I tried, I wouldn't be able to do it. So
It's so true.
there you go. And we are going to credit all the artists. I'm going to send you because I'm showcasing this book, I'm going to send you all the names because I don't know them on top of my head. It's been a while.
That's okay.
So these are really, really amazing editions. And for people who love books and just love pretty books, because I don't know, I have a question for you girls. Do you judge book by a cover?
Absolutely. Why do you my store. That's literally when we opened our bookstore. We purposely face books because I did not grow up around books. I have an interesting history with books, but I do absolutely, especially coming into reading later in life, I totally judge books by their cover. And I'm not an artist, but I'm like a low-key artist, like
She
a
is an
closet
artist.
artist. And so for me,
Yeah.
when the artwork is beautiful, I'm like, this is obviously a good book. Like,
Mhm. Yeah,
so
I agree.
Has to be.
yeah,
And
absolutely, right?
I have a question for you. This is just me like being curious. So feel free not to answer if you don't want to. When you work with these book box companies and you are working on a special edition, do they also send you the box for free? Because what a perk that would be. So she's like, oh,
Sometimes you get a box, sometimes you just get a book. But
okay.
depends. Yeah, not every time. I did
Okay.
get a couple of times a
that's so
box.
fun.
But yeah. They will send you your book for sure. And then sometimes they send you the full box.
Yeah.
And
And
yeah,
so you've done over 50 or over 70 at this point, probably about to do 90. When you get those books that you've done this artwork on it. I'm can only imagine how much time each book takes you. Do you still get like that same volume of surprise and joy like when it
absolutely
arrives?
every time, like a little kid. Honestly, if my aunt used to always make fun of me when I was a child. When I get something, I would get like this. When I get excited, I still do that.
Same.
Same. Yeah, we're dancing around.
Same. And the
Yeah.
idea of a book too that you've worked on personally, it does feel so it's
Yeah.
indescribable.
Yeah.
It's your little
But I
babies. Like you
also,
said, you go to visit your kids.
Yeah.
exactly. But I also, you know what? I also love when you go into a store and pick up a book of an artist that I know. You
Yeah.
know, I feel like I know celebrity. Honestly, I'm like so excited. Oh, I know this person. I know it. Yeah.
Vera, that
So
is how
it's
I
kind of
felt when I would, because we've been talking about A Stage Set for Villains a lot this last month because it is one of my top reads this year so far. And then to discover that you were holding out on me and that you had been already working on the special edition, I was like, Vera, I have to own this. It's
I couldn't
beautiful.
say because Alcrate this time didn't really reveal it ahead of people getting it into their hands. Sometimes they do like early reveal. Sometimes they just hold on to it, I guess, for people to be surprised. And this time they didn't say anything, and I was like,
Oh.
even I didn't know when they're gonna come out with it.
Yeah.
And when I started seeing other people getting the copies, and I'm like, oh, I can finally share this.
Yeah.
It's like such a
Yes.
lift. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna
That's
share
so
this.
fun. We were
Yeah.
actually the other day, so I am nowhere near your caliber of amounts of books done, but I was at the bookshop. We were working on a podcast and I was searching something on Goodreads and I saw a cover that I did that comes out in September for HarperCollins imprint.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally fell to the floor and Lauren was like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "It's on Goodreads." Like, because I had no
Yeah.
idea it was coming out. It was one of those special moments.
Yeah.
I'm glad I got to
Yes.
share it with you. You're,
Well, I had a question now. It's
I'm so
completely
sorry.
no, it's escaped my brain. Oh, I was gonna
About
ask.
yep.
Okay, so I don't think a lot of people realize this, but you do artwork and you're almost what is it like a silent contract? There's a word for that I'm not thinking of right now. But
Mm.
you're working on something, but you're not allowed to tell people about it. What has that been like for you?
Oh, you know what? I am not good at keeping secrets. I am
NDA. Oh,
actually.
NDA. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to
No,
read it.
it's hard. It's hard because especially when I'm drawing something and I'm just working and I'm in like totally in the trenches of doing that cover and I love it. And I just want to take a picture and show it on social media because I know by the time that book comes out, this feeling will be gone. I will move on.
Yeah.
So it's kind of tough. And then sometimes I can't hold it. Then I show this little piece that nobody even can see what it is, but I had to show something,
Mhm.
So it is kind of hard. But of course, I understand the reason for it because sometimes, they just untail the book the publisher, shows the book and the release of the book, you can't really say anything, and that's normal.
Yeah.
So it is one of the parts that I sort of kind of wish, I kind of envy the muralists because they can show their process right as they are working on it, and I can't. So it also kind of leads to the lack of social media content that I make, because while I'm working on something, I don't think about recording it. I'm like so into the work. And then later on, when it comes out, I'm like, I don't even remember how I did this. I don't even know how to now fake it,
Yeah. That's funny. So, as far as social media, so you have the Instagram. Are you doing the TikTok or YouTube or any other platforms or anything like that?
Us
No,
neither, Vera.
no.
Yeah. We refuse.
TikTok, I was never into it
Okay.
because it for me it would require an enormous amount of energy that I
Yeah.
think I can put somewhere else. As for the YouTube is something that I definitely love more. Though, of course, I'm not a fan of TikTok, but YouTube is definitely a platform that I use and I watch a lot of videos and I appreciate the platform. I just don't have the time
The
to
capacity for it. Yeah.
dedicate to it, and therefore not really present myself there. I tried a few times, but I just can't. It's
I
just
think, well, I was
one of
gonna
the
say,
things that I'm not good at.
yeah, I feel
Yeah.
like the demand for a social media presence almost hinders an artist's ability to create.
Yeah.
Because when you're just consistently thinking, I've got to put this online, I've got to put this online, but then there's also that lack of intimacy with work that I think goes away once it's published. Or
Yes.
that it's out there, that once you've put it out there, you're showing all your stuff or whatnot, a lot of people go in and they just copy, and you have years and years of experience and knowledge, and that's not copyable.
Yeah.
It's not, it can't be replicated to your credentials or your work. And so I think there's a lack of, what is the, it's almost I can't think of the word, but it loses the luster. And so I think it's actually really cool for artists to not be as present on social media, because then their work is appreciated more. It's not in their face all the time. That's just
I
a
disagree.
personal
Yeah.
opinion.
I think it depends on personality. And I think if somebody like myself is trying to do something like you, Sherry, for example, I would come off as annoying and fake and literally,
No.
because you could tell that it's not me. But for you, it's very natural. And
Mhm.
you come off as somebody who I would definitely stop to listen to what you have to say,
Mhm.
because that's the energy you project. And
That's
I
so
don't have that
nice.
energy. And it took
Oh.
me a long time to accept that about me, that I just don't have that energy. And I really thought that without social media presence, I will not be able to create a business, to build a business.
Mhm.
But that proved me wrong. Somehow,
Mhm.
the situation itself proved me wrong. And
Yeah.
when I realized that I don't really need to be on social media, I have to post the content as I have it and
Mhm.
post it well. And when you go on my Instagram, it's kind of like obvious what I do. I think that was more important than being constantly on social media
Mhm.
and just talking to people. I often just don't. It's just the way I am. I'm kind of like introverted person, and
Mhm.
just the subjects of what I can talk about all the time on social media would disappear in like 2 days. Like I just can't think of stuff. I'm pretty sure that there are stuff for me to talk about and
Yeah.
to maybe that people would even appreciate me sharing. It's just at least at this point of my career, I'm way too busy to think about social media. I just do the work, and then marketing and my clients do the marketing for me.
Mhm.
Really,
Yeah.
it just kind of happens.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
You're
Yeah.
so uniquely you. And well, first of all, thank you for what you said to me. But also,
Uh,
I could listen to you talk about things all day. And so I think that we all have that type of insecurity. I feel that way about myself. I'm like, who wants to listen to anything that I have to say? But I'm going to play devil's advocate here on the social media. The ability to connect with people through social media, the ability to meet other artists, to be inspired by other artists, to have some sort of community of people, and to
Absolutely.
get to like be in a step connection to the authors and the
Yeah.
book box people and the publishers, to just be able to be like, oh, I just feel like sending them a message, and like that's a real thing, or that someone might pop into your DMs, is, to me, I think the thing that has made, at least for me, the career change possible. I cannot express enough how much like I still feel to this day like I don't know why anyone would watch what I'm doing, but I am so grateful to be able to like put something up and then somebody else is like, "Oh, I get that too. That's so funny." And it just brings so much joy. And there is parts of social media that I think that people, are rightly for like, "Ugh, like let's get off of it." I'm not a slave to it, and I am off of it quite often. But I do think that it has an ability, just like most things in life, to bring us so much joy that as an artist, I would not have so much if it wasn't for it,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know?
it's person dependent. Like, I
Yeah.
get what you're saying as far as
Yes. Yeah.
the devil's advocate thing, but I also think that there's like I would say there's support for it and support not against it, but just the ability to say it's okay. Like you mentioned it, you said to be comfortable with
Yes.
myself not doing it. And I
Yes.
think
Yes.
for myself, like as far as artistry goes, I love that the almost the surprise
Mm.
of
Hmm.
seeing something for the first time. Um, we have a local muralist who doesn't show a lot of her stuff, and then I see it and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing." And so it's almost like that wow factor.
The
And I think I
mystery.
say that in retrospect to your comment regarding having worked on something and then it doesn't come up till months later and having it because you've been in it knee deep
Yeah.
for weeks and weeks and weeks. And so sometimes that can happen with social media where you're knee deep in artwork. And so yeah.
That
I
is
Yeah.
mean,
hard.
I'm the most agreeable person I know, so I can see both sides for sure. I love what you say when you say being comfortable in who you are, because as an artist, I
Exactly.
think that's hard. And as a human, it's hard, but to continue to move forward, you have to be comfortable with yourself. Otherwise,
Absolutely.
you'd be
Mhm.
paralyzed.
I think that you've provided so much advice for people that do maybe want to get into illustration, who might want to be an artist, to follow their own path. And I think that you are an inspiration for that. Is there anything else that you might share for somebody who's like, hey,
I'd love to
maybe
do
to
book
dip
art.
their toes into book art? Is there any advice that you might give them?
Um,
Run
the
away?
the best lesson that I've learned uh, is that honestly, don't don't waste your time trying to figure out a style. I think a lot of people are just so focused on the style, and for me, it's the style will come. It'll
Mhm.
come with time. You won't be able to avoid it because no matter how many different uh, book covers I've done, there's that little thread that's kind of common and it just came naturally through the whole thing without me obsessing. But I was obsessing about a style for a long time and it didn't do anything for me. I was except limiting me limiting
Mm,
like when you try to lock on one style you're limiting yourself to growth in my opinion just don't think about the style. Focus on the storytelling. That is the most important part of the book cover design and illustration. And once you focus on the brief will guide you to what the style needs to be used for it. Trust the brief, trust the process. Be open to feedback because even if there is something on that cover that you absolutely love the most, and the publisher or your client tells you to take it out, it is going to feel like somebody ripped your heart out.
yes.
But once you do that and you take out your emotions, you will see that 99.9% of the time they were right. And I've learned that over the years. through many, oh no, not that part. But yes, they were absolutely right. It made the cover look better, and you need that. You need to trust that there are people out there who have different set of eyes, and also looking at the covers from a different perspective that is going to help you do your job better. So that is also very, very important. Be open to feedback, because that's how you learn.
Yeah. What about putting yourself out there? You had mentioned with your original book work, you had written an article. What would be another thing that you would advise for someone wanting to get into the industry, or a opportunity to put themselves out there, to put themselves in front of box companies or in front of publishers even?
Yeah, I am a huge advocate of personal work. So, passion projects is something that helped me, not just with the redesigning this set, but I've also done a series of quotes from book covers where I was illustrating. And that's where I started really exploring different types of illustrations. And that was the whole point of that project, is for me to try to work with different types of illustration style, just to see, number one, to learn, number two, to see if I can do it, for three, to show the versatility in terms of storytelling.
Mm.
So that was, I called that book quotes or something like that. It's really, it wasn't that innovative, but that project actually landed me a lot of work. And even
Wow.
today I get, when I say, can you give me certain examples for my portfolio, like almost everyone goes to that project and gives me at least one or two from that particular, even though I've done maybe just 10, not a lot, because
Yeah.
things started uh, like just happening really fast after I've started that project. So I didn't really do a lot of the quotes, but I did a fair number of quotes that were in different styles. So now people can, pick one or two just to give me an idea what they're thinking of. So personal projects, definitely put it on social media, regardless of whether or not you get a lot of interaction with others. Like just put
Yeah.
it out there, because at the end of the day, Instagram doesn't serve only as a social media interaction, but also as a sort of a second portfolio,
Yeah.
like the way I see it, because people may go to Instagram before they go to your website or something. And client outreach, yes, that was the last thing that I wanted to mention. So once you have built a certain number of book cover or publishing industry focused work, just go ahead and reach out to book box companies, to publishers, find some contacts. It's easily these days, it's easily to do some research on Instagram itself and to find a lot of contacts. So I prefer sending them an email. Some people do also direct messaging in, but with these like filters of hidden messages, I'm afraid they may not actually see it, because I know if people send me, a lot of times I don't see on time because it goes into hidden.
Right.
So emails, and yeah, just keep doing the good work, and as soon as sooner or later something will show up at your doorstep.
I love that. I love the idea of a passion. You say passion project for
Yeah.
artists. I think a lot of the times, I know for myself, when I'm working on something, I feel like I need to be working on something that has like a sole purpose. But if you get into something just for your soul, it's so healthy,
Yes,
so good for
it
you.
is. It is. It's great for creativity, like
Mhm.
having that time to do stuff for yourself, which I don't anymore, unfortunately. But honestly, book covers are like passion projects. Honestly, they're so cool that I don't feel like I need to have a passion project. They're all passion projects to me
Yeah.
these days.
Yeah.
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 The dream.
Yeah.
So cool. Vera, we are going to wrap up with a little bit of a rapid fire round, unless you have anything
I just
else.
have one more
Oh,
question.
just kidding.
Okay.
I lied.
I would like to know, I know you're not allowed to tell us, you have a lot of stuff on your dock.
Hmm.
And we're excited for the year of books. 2026 is going to be a great year of books. Can you tell us the month of the item you're most excited to be working on right now. So like maybe it's coming out in September or October. Do you have that possibly?
That's like
So we
picking a favorite child.
Every month there's
She's
something coming out.
like this year's gonna be good. Just follow me and we'll go for the ride.
Yeah, there's so many great editions that are going to come out. I'm actually, okay, I'm going to pick one
Okay.
because
Okay, so
it
you
is
can
my
do multiple.
first Quebecois cover. And
Okay.
I'm very, very excited. It's in French and it's going to be here in Quebec. And I'm very, très, très, très heureuse to have this cover, on the shelf here in Quebec and in
Okay.
Canada in general.
And
Yeah.
when is this? What
It's
month
going
is
to
this?
be, I think, in September.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yay! Cool. So we can look forward to something awesome we know you're excited about. I just want to be excited for you now with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can't tell us what it is, but we want to be excited for you
Yeah.
with it about right now. So
Yes.
all
You
right. So
should
are
be.
we ready for some rapid fire
I am.
questions?
Are you? How about you? Are you ready, Vera?
Sure.
Okay.
Fire
Here
up.
we go. We're gonna take turns. We'll ask you. You can answer quickly with what comes to your head, or if you're like me, you can give an explanation. Lauren says that you can choose both if you like.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see whether or not explanation
We'll see
will
what
be
happens.
needed.
Okay. All right. First up, we have if you had to choose, would you pick fae, vampires, or werewolves?
Oh, vampires.
Oh,
I love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So
love
you
dead bloodsuckers.
I love it.
It's great.
Okay, so I'm gonna skip down to this one. So comedy or suspense?
Suspense.
Would you annotate in your books, or do you like to keep them pristine?
Pristine.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Pristine. I like this.
Do you prefer paperback or hardcover?
Hardcover.
Also good. Okay, this is a question we ask every guest. Think about it a little bit. Live
Okay.
in a fantasy world. Would you prefer to live in a fantasy world or be able to read at lightning speed so that you could read more books, but you have to live in the real world?
Oh, live in a fantasy. I don't have to think about that.
Don't need to
I
think
would
about it.
move right away. If there's a realm in the
Yes.
other world, I would move there right away.
Do you have a specific fantasy world you'd like to live in?
Oh, that's a good one that I can think about a little bit. Okay, here's the thing. I really do like dark dystopian worlds, but I would not like to live in them. I like to read about those.
Mm-hmm.
However, I guess maybe Shire. Shire would be
Yes.
cool. Yeah.
Yes, that seems like fun and
Yeah,
Yeah.
adventurous.
and timeless.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Timeless that's true.
And then my favorite question, which nobody loves, is do you believe in love at first sight? Yes or no?
I'm trying to think. Did I fall in love with my husband right away? I think I did.
Yeah.
No, I did not.
Okay.
Actually. So I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Love
love
it.
that. I love
love
that.
so much.
Yeah.
We have one more question that we'd like to ask you today. What has been bringing you the most joy lately in your reading life or in your creative work?
Just when I see the picture forming in front of me, and when I surprise myself with progress, because I do think this whole amount of work that I'm getting lately has made me grow as an artist a lot, and I see a lot of the progress myself that I cannot deny, because I do tend to deny the progress. But this time I can honestly say that I can't deny it, which gives me a lot of joy, because that means that I am growing, and I am really, really grateful for it and aware of it. Because sometimes you have to be aware to be able to be grateful, right? So sometimes it's just it comes together. You can't be grateful for something if you're not aware of it.
Lovely.
Valid.
It's so lovely.
Yeah.
I agree. Thank you Vera, thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
being here
girls.
with us today. We loved hearing about your process. I loved hearing about all of the new books that we are now going to put on our TBR.
We have a list for the listeners as well.
We will definitely share in the show notes. And for our listeners, if you have any sort of love for detailed story driven design and illustration, you definitely need to follow Vera and check out the books that she's illustrated. And if our listeners want to find you, what's the best way for them to find you on social or whatever you'd like to share?
We're on Instagram. You can find me on Instagram at Vera.Drmanovski. Don't make me spell it. They're gonna put it in the show notes.
We got it.
We
Because
got
you
it.
won't remember it anyways, even if I spell it out. So yeah, on Instagram and on Instagram, that's it. I'm nowhere else to be found.
I love it.
Except,
We love
yeah,
that.
you can. Yeah, just one place. It's simple. I'm a
is.
child before internet, so.
I appreciate it, and I honestly love your social media. I love how honest you are with your audience, and I love that you do take them through the creative process a little bit and show your work. So it is very fun to see all the detail. The detail work you do is phenomenal. So I hope
Thank
everyone
you.
goes and checks you out. Thank you again for spending time with us. If anyone has any good ideas for a future topic, episode, or anything like that, you can message us at hereforthestory@gmail.com or gmail.com.
Here for the Story podcast at
Podcast.
gmail.com. And it will be linked in the show notes.
Yep. Thank goodness for Shari. And thank you, Vera, again so much for all of your time
Thank
with
you.
us today. And we just look forward to hearing from you again. And
Yeah, we're so grateful. We hope that we'll have you back soon, maybe next season of our podcast. And we can't wait to check out all of the books that
you're
Same here.
creative.
you're
Looking
creating.
forward to it. And thank you for having me. It was
Yes.
really fun.
I'm so
Thank you.
glad. Thank you so much.
Until next time, happy reading.
Until next time,
Happy
happy
reading.
reading, everybody. All right, bye.
Bye.
Uh,